Deputy, you've 4 minutes, unless you have an arrangement.
Thanks. I'll try and be courteous to the deputy that follows me. Can I congratulate the Minister of Justice and his department on bringing forward this bill, and it forms part of this government's extensive effort to reform public service in the area of children and youth affairs. And I also like to compliment the Minister for Children, Frances Fitzgerald, because I know she was extensively consulted in the formation of that. In the context of the upcoming children's referendum, the government is making a very clear statement that the aims of the government is to protect children, cherish their rights and ensure we deliver on our responsibilities to the next generation. And I believe this bill will make a big difference to many people. It's important that vetting of people is put on a clear and statutory basis, and I think that happens there. And if you have to understand the size of it, 19,000 organisations, 300,000 people were vetted last year, and it clearly demonstrates the demands on the systems, and I hope that this bill will ensure that it's more efficient and speedy. Like Deputy Murphy that had spoken earlier on, unfortunately, on the ground, I believe that there is delays still currently in the system. There was a recent report, as Deputy Murphy referred to, as Deputy Tommy Brune had asked a question, showing that the vetting was reduced down to 2 weeks in 2012. But I have to say, my personal experience does not reflect this. And this is leading to delays in the uptake of places in community employment, job bridge, TUA, and especially in the critical areas of childcare, which the Minister John Burton referred to earlier on in her contribution to this to the House. The framework this bill puts in place is important, as it ensures that the public can have confidence in the process, and it takes into account not just convictions but provides specific information on bona fide concerns to be considered. And I'm not going to go any further than that because I think Deputy Spring has covered that. I have to say, I certainly welcome the recent additions to 20 additional civilian employees to the process of vetting queries. I think it frees up the Garda and hopefully makes it a much more efficient manner. And what we experience on the ground, that we will see inroads to what I believe is a substantial backlog. However, the exclusion of re-vetting due to resource constraints is worrying, and organisations that are not covered will have to voluntarily opt in. These are issues that will need to be considered at a future date. It is important to note that the bill will make it mandatory for persons working with children and vulnerable adults to be vetted by Garda, and that's to be welcomed. Children at all stages must be protected. One area must be considered, and I think Deputy Spring mentioned it, is kind of the sole traders, and there is vendors who specifically target children in the market and are involved in unsupervised contact. And an example of this could kind of include your ice cream van, your specialised sweet shops, and your play centres, where there's unsupervised direct activity not on a daily but on a daily and weekly basis. So it's important that we do not act in a reactionary way, but we must also take stock of the risks that exist. Excluding such core groups from this legislation could lead to migration to non-covered areas. The legislation must be robust. There must be provision for further activities that may include irregular, unsupervised interaction with children to be added to the list of those that must be vetted, possibly by statutory instrument. And I think that might be a way forward to that, in a mechanism of keeping it constantly under reviewed. And just one comment, I had a consistency recently on this issue, and over a period of just a year, she had to be vetted by 3 different times due to administration issues. This resulted in quite a waste of Garda time and a loss of earnings. As people often change their employment in childcare, I would ask the Minister to consider including a mechanism to allow a person's vetting status to be easily checked and updated. It should be easier to transfer your Garda clearance to new employment, but I do recognise that simply by putting this process on a statutory basis will lead to a more efficient, secure and responsive system. I hope I kept within my time. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Deputy. And